Good day, I'm Theo Veldsman, and I would like to share some thoughts with you about designing fit-for-purpose organizations. I think the first important question about this is, why has organizational design become so important? And maybe I can start off with a quote by saying, as somebody said, all organizations are perfectly designed to get the results they get. In other words, if you have high productivity, high profitability, high engaged employees, then something good is happening in your organization around your design. If you have the opposite, then there's probably something not working around your design. Of course, the first question is, what is design all about? Design is essentially entails the operating model of the organization, the delivery model, delivery logic of how you're going to uncover client needs, design or architect client solutions, deliver those solutions, and then look after your clients. But there are in particular 5 reasons why organizational design has become a mission critical discipline, as I would like to call it. Firstly, design has always been a key leadership task. Alongside looking at your business model, your financial model, your strategic intent of the organization, design is now how you now give hands and feet to your strategic intent and your business model. So it is a key leadership task. The second reason why design has become important is because the world is changing and the world is radically different. The words that gets used for this new world is the VUCA world. Personally, I prefer to use the term the Vickers world, which says essentially the same. So the world is no longer the same, and organizations have to really, from first principles, reconsider their organizational design. Thirdly, is because of this changing world, organizations have to question their identity. Who and what are we, and how we want to deliver to our clients? How do we want to also, more broadly speaking, how do we address the interest and the stakes and the needs of our stakeholders in being organizations? And then obviously that has implications for the design of the organization. Fourthly, in the knowledge economy, people have moved center stage. People are going to be the competitive edge of organizations in the future. So how do we then build organizations that are people-centric, that are human-centric, and gets the best out of our people? And in particular then also with the different generations in the workplace, how do we then accommodate the different generations in the workplace through our designs? And finally, it's been shown over and over again that because of the centrality of your operating model in giving hands and feet to your strategic intent, that your design is a core element to the competitive edge of the organization in its particular sector operating arena. So 5 reasons why design has become important. The second question that comes to the fore against the backdrop of the 5 reasons is then, what does one consider when one looks at the delivery logic, the operating model of the organization? Essentially, in essence and very shortly, there are 3 levels of design at the strategic level. And here I would like to introduce the analogy of building a house. It is building the overall organization, the house plan. What rooms, how are they positioned relative to one another? In design language, the functionalities of the organization and how it has to function relative to its core value chain. The second level is the tactical level. Having now designed the overall house plan, is what rooms make up the house and what must those rooms look like? In other words, the organizational functionalities, the HR, the finance, how must they be designed? And the third level is the operational design level. And this is the functioning of the organization on a daily basis in terms of its work teams, what work teams does it need, and work roles. And you could call that the furniture that has to go into the rooms of the house. For each of those 3 levels, strategic, tactical, and operational, you then have to look at 3 dimensions. The first dimension is the horizontal dimension of design, which says along my core value chain, what type of work units do I need in order to get the work done, the rooms. The second dimension of organizational design is the vertical design, in terms of the levels of work that needs to be allocated to the different rooms in the house in order to. So it is, do I need a CEO? Do I need a chief operating officer? Do I need heads of different functions? And what level of work are they expected to do? The third level is the lateral design. What you've done with the horizontal design, with the vertical design, you've created groupings of work along the core value chain. Horizontal design, vertical design, you have differentiated the work in terms of the hierarchy of the organization. The lateral design is how do you get these bits and pieces to talk to one another in terms of the integrating mechanisms, such that the organization will function as an integrated whole. Why these levels and dimensions are important is that if you don't cover all of them, you don't have a properly designed house that will function correctly. And what is very important around this is that you have a comprehensive integrated process in terms of design, moving through the strategic, the tactical and the operational levels in order to arrive at a house that functions properly in terms of its rooms and in terms of its furniture. Of course, then the next, understanding that, the question then comes to the fore: what does the organization of the future look like? Because one has to, if design is going to assist you and enable you to deliver on your strategic intent, it's all about the future. And what is important then to understand the shifts that are occurring against the backdrop of the world that's changing, this VUCA world, VICAS world, whatever you want to call it, the fourth industrial revolution, sustainability, and all of those good things that are impacting on organizations. The future is not going to look the same. It's going to look different. And what we're seeing is a definite shift away from a command and control type organization, where it's the hierarchically based, the typical pyramid type organization, to a flattened team-based, team-organized organization of small, agile, nimble units, teams and work units that are highly autonomous, that interact directly with the market around the value proposition in order to deliver a total experience to clients. That's the broad shift that we're seeing in organizations in terms of how they set up in order to operate effectively in a competitive fashion in the new world. We're going to have a workshop on the 7th of August in Johannesburg, a full-day workshop. Similarly, on the 13th of August in Cape Town, actually working through all these aspects of organizational design to capacitate you to understand the total process at a high level of how do I design a fit-for-purpose organization. The workshops themselves are based and extracted from my recently published book by Knowledge Resources entitled Designing Fit-for-Purpose Organizations and Comprehensive Integrated Route Map, that takes a process approach at how do you actually architect this house that will be able to do the job. The book can be ordered via the website of Knowledge Resources, www.kr.co.za. Thank you very much for your time.